Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kazanthi here, and today we are building a base game home. This base game home, feels weird to say, is built on a 30 by 20 lot in Willow Creek. Obviously you can move it wherever you like. But yeah, it's only base game. It fits one pair of parents and one toddler. There's the porch, and then we'll have like a garden area later on, so hopefully there's some stuff. And I did try and bring in some skill building items for both toddlers and adults. So yeah, let's get into it. The idea was, I actually didn't have a reference picture for this one. I think I'm trying to get back into building just from my head, sometimes maybe sketching a floor plan, but ideally just thinking up and then seeing where I go with it. So for example, here I added in the bay window because I was using the bay windows from the game that you just saw me almost put in, but then I decided I didn't like how they looked, so I decided I'd rather actually just build the bay window because it always looks nicer. I think it always looks a bit more natural and just a bit like actually more useful because it's bigger and you can let in more light that way. Especially with this slot. This slot's great for the lighting. It is right onto your house, so that though in a real world you wouldn't want it this way, because this means that early in the morning it's right in your house, so it's really hot in summer, and then at the end of the day it's right into your house again, so again it's really hot. I know that from personal experience because that's what my house is like. But anywho, it's good for building because it looks really pretty. So you can see I start going with like a really traditional look for the house, so shutter windows, sash windows, that type of thing. I really like putting the entrance to a house on the side. The feel of it from the front where you don't see the door, somehow it just gives me an elevated feel. I don't know why, but that's just how I feel. Remember how I said I built on vibes? This is an example of how I build on vibes. But yeah, you can see I'm just adding in the stairs, and then I'm pretty sure the floor plan comes in soon. Either you see me do it or we just snip snap put it in. But first we're figuring out the stairs, which is always a really big thing for me. I like to figure out the stairs first because one, if I don't, I forget it, and two, then I can actually figure out what I'm doing with my floor plan. So here you go, you can actually see me doing it, and just like I said, I really do build around the stairs, so I figure out where the stairs can go first, and then I see what weird spaces I have that I need to kind of address first and foremost, and then see what I can do with the rest of it. So for example, above here I figured there's only really so much space that the stairs need, but there's also so much space I could take away from it, that kind of thing. Anyway, we've moved on into the kitchen now, so just using, I think these are like the only base game counters I actually like. There are the industrial ones, but they're not my favorite. I don't know why. I think it's just I know that there are the ones from the Mount Komorebi expansion pack. So I just prefer those. I don't know why. But yeah, I thought I would put the dining table in here. Just because I knew the living room would be really small. There's not really much space else in the house, and it makes a lot of sense. It fits nicely with how the windows are. Lining windows up and making sure that they are balanced correctly on the interior with what is decorating the room is a really big thing for me as well. I think it really, like I said, it balances the room really well between up and down and creates a nice direction all around. You'll see it better in the living room where I'll point it out again, but as for now, we just go for some subway tiles in the kitchen. This house has definitely got a very neutral tone. I'm kind of trying to bring that across, I think, in all the builds that will be coming out this week and next week. So you saw the horse ranch build already, that was quite neutral in tone. I think I've just been feeling really colourful when I first started doing my videos on YouTube, and now I kind of want to tone it back a bit. I want to elevate my builds, and an easy way to do that is just neutrals, because they do look a lot more sophisticated. Yeah, so put the mat down in front of the sink, which is a big must for me, not in real life, but in a Sims build, yes, I just need it. And then the trash can as well. I toyed with the idea of putting in overhead cabinets, but then in the end I actually ended up placing some shelving in. But do I decorate them with clutter? No, that would be too much. So you can definitely, if you want to use this build, definitely clutter it up with your own stuff. As for furniture in here, I kind of was going for, I think I've talked about this again previously in many builds, is I love an older exterior and then a sort of towing the line of modern and traditional interior. So, for example, we've got the wood flooring, the wood paneling on the walls here, but that couch, that bookshelf, they are very contemporary and minimalist with those lines. But yeah, this is what I mean about the balancing. So we've got one thing filling up the wall, and then the painting really helps elevate the little table and the plant that creates that vertical height that mirrors the bookshelf, and so it just makes it look better. Again, here we've got the words are escaping me, landscape portrait that reflects the length of the table, but the guitar keeps the space interesting. You see what I mean about balancing it out? So it's really thinking about the shape and size of your items on the floor versus the wall, and then making sure that you keep an equal upward and across dimension, like vertical or horizontal dimension to the decoration. Like if you hadn't put the guitar there, it might look a bit empty, a bit static, whereas putting that guitar there, it kind of just disrupts the eye and how the eye looks at things. If this were a portrait, if this were a painting, in fact, you would probably say that the upward dimension of the guitar and now the plant too helps draw the gaze up to the painting, the picture, instead of looking at the table with all the messy things on it, that kind of thing. That's just something I'd like to think about. It's a really big thing for me, especially when I'm cluttering. And yeah, it definitely helps thinking about that sort of balancing act. As for now, we are moved on to the parents' bedroom. So just gone for, there keep being these pauses in my videos, and it's so annoying because I've edited them, but don't know where they're coming from. But yeah, so we just gone with the base game beds. I really just wanted to carry on that white from the paneling of the wallpaper, which I did bring in from the lounge. It really is one of the few base game wallpapers that I like. I used to be obsessed with the wood paneling that you can see in the study just there when I first had The Sims, but I've moved on from that now. I think my building tastes have changed. But yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why I neglect a lot of base game, is just because it's very outdated. It needs to be refreshed, really, or updated in some way, but I guess they're probably not going to do that because now base game's free, so they don't really get anything out of it other than, making people happy, which let's move on to something better. So here we've got an easel, which is my go-to skill building item, and I'm sorry, not sorry. Otherwise there's a lot of clutter. We do have the stereo, which helps with if you want to dance. Parents can dance in their bedrooms too. As for that, I really like the dynamicness of this wall, I have to say, because it's kind of unusual. It's not super balanced, but it's got a nice pizzazz is the word that's coming to my mind. It's just the energy is very much it's all everywhere at once. I just like it. I really enjoy that wall. But yeah, so there's, you know, we've got the skill building items, like we got the guitar, we got the stereo, we got the easel. There's no TV, but there is a computer upstairs. And then in this toddler room, which at first I put the sparkles everywhere, and then I decided no, I wanted more of a feature, so that's why I switched it around. I put in a Blaffy, and then there's just like a backpack for clutter purposes, because clutter purposes are real and they need to be met. They shouldn't be neglected. And same for like the wall decals and stuff. I love unicorns. I want a unicorn painting in my room. And sorry, my headphones did just turn off, and that will be heard by you guys, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, if I could have a unicorn decal, I would. So I'm giving my Sims what I want myself. As for the terrain, I'm just starting on this pathway. I wanted it to be... The idea essentially was I wanted there to be something covering the stairs to kind of create a bit more privacy in the front here. So that's why we get the really odd-shaped path, and I don't know why I didn't want to budge on not using the on like only using the square for the path, but I made it work somehow. So that's all the terrain painting really I do, and then we're just putting more skill building items out back, so gardening, and then the motor skill for the kids. I believe that's it, though I do feel like... No, I think that's it. I think it's just gardening and motor skill for the kids outside. This base game house is a bit on the more expensive side. It is like 40,000 or something. So definitely not a starter home. But also not ridiculously expensive. And like, yeah, if you wanted to, you could, there's definitely like space to add things in the garden, which I think is good. Like I like that when I download a build, there's a bit more flexibility with it. It's not so rigid, and I don't have to go through all the efforts to delete loads of things. A bit lazy like that. Anywho, we're back on the front now, so the garden is all finished, and what we're doing here is just... Again, this is the same idea as with the walls and the decorations. It's just creating the right sort of vertical and horizontal height. And that's why you go for different... That's why me goes for... Like, why we go for different heights of bushes and plants and things. It just creates a rounded vibe, like rounded look to everything. It makes it more appealing to look at, rather than just everything's the same height. And suddenly we're on screenshots. I did not know that was coming. I just love talking about how I'm building. That's why I'm here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed the build. If you want to download it, it is on the gallery, and I will see you next time. Bye.